Central Oregon Daily in focus tonight. Before the end of this year, nearly 300,000 people will have been diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in every 6 will die of the disease. In just 3 days, though, the world is going to get a lot pinker as Breast Cancer Awareness Month kicks off.
In small communities like Central Oregon, resources are often slim, forcing those with the diagnosis to fight harder and travel farther. St. Charles is working to change that, to bring more resources here. I got a look inside the breast cancer unit to see what's being done.
I know more people than I should that have breast cancer.
Esther Toso is one of the hundreds of thousands of women every year in the United States who will hear the life-changing news they have breast cancer.
The world is a beautiful place.
Who will be forced to put their world on hold.
It's a sisterhood.
A sisterhood with a reality you can't run from.
If anybody called me today and said, I have breast cancer, I'll go have coffee with you.
Over a freshly brewed batch, I sat with Esther at her cozy kitchen table. Her world-traveling family was in Sisters for Thanksgiving last year when a self-test made her pause.
Even though you felt the lump, it blindsided you.
Totally blindsided me. My health history is my family with diabetes or strokes or all these things. I never thought cancer was in my story.
Her story is still being written.
I have a desire to get to Turkey or to Egypt, to the really old places.
But now includes fewer maps and a rush of doctor appointments, including a single mastectomy, a surgery she wasn't initially supposed to have.
And originally it was only supposed to be a lumpectomy, but then they found more pieces of the cancer in my breast from an MRI.
Dr. Caitlin Trong was the one who took the cancer out.
I don't get the Mondays because I love my job.
She moved to Bend from Denver just before Esther's diagnosis, making Esther one of her first patients here. She's also the hospital's first fellowship-trained breast surgeon. The extra year at Stanford.
Surrounded by world experts, innovation, research.
This is one way the only hospital in town is expanding breast cancer care. Dr. Trong calls St. Charles's approach to the disease comprehensive, including a high-risk program to help those more likely to get the disease.
Maybe we can catch it when they're early stage 1 rather than a higher advanced stage.
A point of pride for her as she navigates the differences between big and small city healthcare is one of the hospital's latest job postings.
We only really see that at academic centers or very large community centers to be able to post a position for our own reconstructive surgeon.
This would have been a huge help to Esther.
There was no surgeon in town that would do it at that time, and I was told I might have to drive over the pass.
Due to an insurance issue with her reconstructive surgery, Esther was faced with a choice: wait here for a local surgeon to get covered by her plan, or travel across the Cascades for her mastectomy, reconstructive surgery, and multiple follow-ups.
Just to think of having to possibly be in a hotel to try to heal or drive over the pass in the pain that you're in, it's just ridiculous.
She waited, pushing back her procedure 2 months. Now she waits again for her next scan to check if the cancer spread.
Being in that in-between period right now, do you feel unease?
When you've had a cancer diagnosis, no matter what your journey's been, it's always going to be there. It can come back. So yeah, the unknown is hard.
Well, you can't run from a cancer diagnosis. You can run to help others forced to join the sisterhood. On Sunday, survivors and supporters will run the Heaven Can Wait 5K, benefiting Sarah's Project. The local organization helps those in their breast cancer battles, like Esther.
When I first had my first appointment with Dr. Trong, she spent an hour and a half with me. Everybody cared.
The caring includes a care package from Sarah's Project.
The goodie bag will have fuzzy socks, chapstick, and notebooks.
It was just lovely.
Every patient is so touched by it.
Really made all the difference to my perspective on it's going to be okay.
It's this kind of support.
I love the energy of Central Oregon.
That convinced Esther. Bend, no matter how small,
I wanted to be here for my treatment.
Was the place she wanted to be for the biggest fight of her life.
We plan to travel and continue to travel.
To keep her world spinning.
I think that anybody that has been confronted with mortality looks at life a little bit differently. You appreciate every breath and every moment. So you structure your life that way.
And St. Charles is also expanding its cancer center, building a new facility in Redmond, and this will lift a great burden off of patients who have to travel into Bend repeatedly, especially for recurring treatments like radiation. Esther says she's really hopeful for the future of cancer care in Central Oregon. She knows that she stepped into the cancer world as St. Charles was still growing its resources, but hearing what's to come, she says it gives her hope that the process will be even easier for others who are dealing with a similar problem.
And you hear from a lot of people who say the same thing about moving to smaller communities, particularly if they're getting up there in age.
Yeah.
That is not her case, but certainly from those who are, that the resources just aren't there medically.
Yeah.
I need to be somewhere where if I have a heart attack,
Yeah.
if I contract a disease, that I can get out there and find something. It's really nice to hear that things are starting to pick up
that
there.
has been the case for a lot of people in
Yeah.
Central Oregon, but in this specific case for breast cancer care, St. Charles is really going all in, trying to make sure that patients have the resources they
good.
need. And Esther is planning to go to the Heaven Can Wait race on Sunday. St. Charles and her reconstructive surgeon, Dr. Emily Borsting, are sponsors of that race, so some of the most important people in her
Right.
story will all be there supporting her.
Let's talk a little bit more about that race. If you want to help raise money for Sarah's project and in turn help local breast cancer warriors, here's what you need to know. The Heaven Can Wait 5K is, again, this Sunday. You can register online until Saturday, or you can sign up right there on site on Sunday. It's at Redmond High School. The race starts at 10:30. Packet pickup will be same day. Registration begins at 8:30. The theme is superheroes, of course. Dr. Trong will be the keynote speaker at that event.